This is Jonathan Cahn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. When you look at what's happening in the world, it's easy to wonder what's going on, and are things out of control? Is this what the Bible foretold? Is the end near? What do I need to know about the future? Where's it all going? How can I be prepared? What is God's prophetic word for the hour and for me? On this channel, you're going to find prophetic updates, the mysteries of God, daily words for life, biblical revelation, prophetic teachings, and much more. I pray it's going to be a great blessing to you in the days ahead. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time there's a new video that's posted. Leave a comment as to how God is blessing you. And don't forget to share these videos with friends who need to hear them. Thanks again, and God bless you. Shalom.
There are moments in history when the voice of God breaks through the noise of the world, not in a whisper, but in a thunderclap. We are in such a moment. The storms around us are not random. The confusion, the shaking, the unrest, they are signs. The world says it is falling apart, but heaven says, I am speaking. God is calling his chosen ones, not tomorrow, not later, but now. June 21, 2025 is not just a date, it is a divine summons. A trumpet in the spirit realm. The Lord is calling the remnant to rise. The storm that surrounds the world right now is not a mere coincidence. It is not simply the result of politics, pandemics, or social unrest. It is the backdrop for a divine message. When the winds rage and the foundations tremble, it is not the chaos that rules. It is heaven that speaks. God has often used the storm to announce his movement. In the days of Noah, the storm brought judgment, but also salvation. In the days of Elijah, the whirlwind became a vehicle for divine glory. And now, in this hour, the shaking of the world is a prophetic sign. It is not destruction, it is declaration. The earth groans because the voice of the Lord is moving through it. Many have asked, where is God in all of this? But the real question is, are we listening? For God is not silent. His voice thunders from the heavens, echoing through the crises, through the fear, through the confusion. It is not a gentle whisper this time, it is a trumpet. A call to the chosen to wake up, to rise, to return. When God speaks through the storm, it is never without purpose. He is realigning his people, calling them out of complacency, summoning them into divine readiness. The shaking is heaven's alarm. And like all alarms, it is disruptive, but necessary. For too long, the people of God have slept in comfort while the battle waged outside. Too many have walked in distraction while destinies remain dormant. But now the storm has come. It has exposed what is real and what is religious. It has revealed where our trust truly lies, not in systems, not in governments, not even in religious tradition, but in the voice of the Lord alone. God never wastes a storm. When he allows the winds to blow, it is to remove what is dead. When he shakes the earth, it is to expose what has no foundation. And when he speaks in the midst of it, it is to awaken those who have ears to hear. The chosen must not interpret the shaking as defeat. It is a divine interruption, a holy intervention, an urgent summons to return to what matters most. And in the center of the shaking, there is a still, strong voice declaring, come back, return, arise. For many, this storm has brought loss of stability, loss of routine, loss of control. But those losses are not the end. They are the beginning of something deeper, something real. When all else is stripped away, what remains is the unshakable. The storm comes to bring clarity, to reset the compass, to remind us that our hope is not in the world, but in the one who holds the world. What we are seeing now is not just natural upheaval, it is spiritual. Heaven is shifting the landscape. The Spirit is stirring the waters. And the question is not whether God is speaking, it is whether his people will listen. The storm is the amplifier. The shaking is the announcement. Heaven is speaking, and the chosen must tune their hearts to hear it. There was a time when heaven was silent. In the years between the Old and New Testaments, no prophet spoke. No word was recorded. It was a long, aching silence. But when it ended with fire. A voice cried out in the wilderness, and the world was never the same. That silence is long past, but today, a new kind of silence has tried to grip the church. A silence of fear, of compromise, of political correctness. But God is breaking the silence again, not with a whisper, but with a word. And that word is going forth with power. The silence has ended. God is raising up voices, not just in pulpits, but in everyday places, in workplaces, homes, schools, and streets. The chosen are not called to echo the world. They are called to speak with the authority of heaven. The word is being entrusted to those who will carry it in purity, who will not bow to public opinion, who will not trade truth for approval. This is the season where the word must be lived, not just spoken. The chosen are not just called to preach, they are called to embody. The time of casual faith is over. The fire is falling on those who have been refined in secret, who have been tested in silence, and who are ready to roar with truth in the streets. The silence was a season, but it is not the future. God is looking for messengers, not of hype, but of holiness, not of noise, but of truth. The silence is broken, and the word is marching forward like a sword. The chosen must pick it up, carry it, speak it, and live it. The world is desperate for a voice that carries heaven, and that voice is rising now. The silence has ended, and the time for bold proclamation has come. In every move of God, there comes a point when He begins to separate, not out of cruelty, but out of covenant. He makes a distinction between those who are His and those who are not, between those who walk in appearance and those who walk in truth. This separation is not always visible at first. It often begins in the hidden places of the heart. It happens when motives are tested, when loyalty is weighed, and when obedience is demanded. The Spirit is searching not for perfection, but for surrender. And what He finds will determine who stands in this hour and who falls away when the shaking grows stronger. The separation that is unfolding now is not just between the church and the world. It is happening within the church itself. God is removing mixture. He is calling His people to be set apart. No more mixture of holy and profane. No more blending of light and darkness. The Spirit is drawing a clear line, and those who are chosen cannot afford to blur it. This is not a time to straddle the fence. It is a time to be marked by heaven. Throughout Scripture, God has always made distinctions. In Egypt, He distinguished between the people of Israel and the people of Pharaoh. The plagues fell on one, but not the other. In Malachi, He speaks of a time when people will once again see the difference between the righteous and the wicked, between those who serve God and those who do not. That time is not coming, it is here. The wheat and the tares may grow together for a season, but the harvest always brings separation. In the shaking, the tares will not remain standing. They will wither and fall. Only the wheat, the true, the rooted, the faithful will endure. The fire is coming, not just to reveal what is pure, but to remove what is false. And those who have built their lives on performance rather than presence, on ambition rather than anointing, will find themselves unable to withstand the test. This separation is also happening in relationships, in connections, in alignments. God is removing voices from your life that no longer speak His truth. He is disconnecting you from places that were once comfortable but are no longer consecrated. The people you thought you needed may suddenly walk away. But do not mourn what God removes. Every divine separation is for the sake of a greater connection with Him. The altar of the Lord must be rebuilt, and it begins with fire. Fire does not fall on the compromise. Fire falls on sacrifice. And in this hour, God is calling His people to rekindle what has been lost. The fire that once burned in the early church, the fire that moved men to pray for hours, that caused believers to sell their possessions and care for the poor, that ignited cities with revival. That fire must burn again. It cannot be kindled with programs. It cannot be manufactured with emotionalism. It can only be found in the place of encounter. The fire returns when the altar is restored. The altar is the place of surrender. It is the place where flesh dies, where idols are torn down, where heaven meets earth. And many have neglected the altar for too long. The result has been a church with form but no power, with lights but no light, with noise but no voice. God is not looking for more sermons. He is looking for burning ones, lives that are lit with the fire of heaven, hearts that are laid down in full obedience, eyes that are fixed on His glory, not on platform. The altar is personal before it is corporate. Revival in the world begins with revival in you. And revival in you begins when you return to the altar and allow the Spirit to consume everything that is not of Him. The fire must be kept burning. It cannot go out. That was the command in the book of Leviticus. The priests were to keep the fire on the altar burning day and night. Why? Because fire is not automatic. It must be tended. It must be fed. If you want the fire of God, you must give it fuel. Fuel of the Word, fuel of prayer, fuel of worship, fuel of obedience. God provides the flame, but you must provide the sacrifice. The rekindling of the altar is not just a call for individuals, it is a call for the body. The church cannot run on events, on trends, on branding. It must return to the secret place, to the inner courts, to the upper room. It must once again become the place where the fire falls, where brokenness is welcomed, where holiness is pursued, where heaven comes down. This is the time to rebuild what has been torn down, to cleanse what has been defiled, to renew what has grown cold. And it begins with fire, not a fire that entertains, but one that transforms, not a fire that flickers with emotion, but one that consumes with power. The fire is the evidence that the altar has been restored. And the altar is the place where God meets with His people in glory. Because God does not waste anything, not your pain, not your trials, not your hidden seasons. Every difficulty you have endured, every moment of silence, every unanswered prayer, every closed door, it has all been part of a divine process. You are being prepared. Just as a sculptor chisels a stone to reveal the beauty within, God is shaping you into a vessel fit for His glory. And the shaping, though often painful, is a sign that you are chosen for something greater. You were never meant to remain in the background forever. The Lord often hides those He intends to use mightily. He refines them in the caves, in the wilderness, in the fire of obscurity. Joseph had to endure the pit and the prison before he stood in Pharaoh's court. David had to fight lions and bears in secret before he faced Goliath in public. Esther had to be hidden in the palace before she stood before the king. Preparation precedes manifestation. And the longer the preparation, the greater the assignment. This season may feel like delay, but it is divine. God is aligning your spirit, strengthening your character, and burning away the things that cannot carry the weight of the calling ahead. He is not just preparing you to be seen, He is preparing you to withstand. For the glory that is coming cannot rest on shallow foundations. It must rest on those who have been emptied of self, filled with the Spirit, and trained in faithfulness. Many cry out for promotion without realizing that promotion in the kingdom always follows brokenness. God breaks what He intends to use. He allows affliction to bring about dependency. He allows betrayal to teach discernment. He allows silence to deepen your hunger for His voice. Every test has been a tool in the hands of the potter. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And what has been hidden will soon come forth in power because you endured the preparation. Even now, heaven is assigning mantles. But they are not going to the proud or to the loud. They are falling on those who have stayed hidden, who have served faithfully, who have not sought platforms but have wept on the altar. These are the ones who will carry the word of the Lord in power. These are the ones who will walk into rooms and shift atmospheres. These are the ones who will speak and chains will break, not because of their name, but because of the oil they carry. But with the assignment comes a choice. The sixth truth is this: you must decide whom you will serve. In every generation, God brings his people to a crossroads, a place where the cost of compromise becomes clear and the call to consecration becomes unavoidable. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot walk in fire and entertain lukewarmness. You cannot live for God and still cling to the world. There is no middle ground anymore. The gray areas are being erased. Light and darkness are becoming more distinct, and the remnant must choose. Elijah stood before Israel and cried, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him." That cry is going forth again. The Spirit is calling the chosen to make a clear stand. This is the hour to declare your allegiance, not with your lips only, but with your life. The compromise that was tolerated in the last season will become a snare in the next. The sins you coddled will rise up and devour you if not surrendered. The call to holiness is no longer optional. It is survival. For the battle ahead will not be won by casual Christians, but by consecrated warriors. God is not looking for half-hearted devotion. He is seeking those who burn with the fire of first love, those who would rather be rejected by men than be distant from him, those who will speak truth even if it costs them influence, those who will walk away from comfort to carry the cross. The question is not whether you are called, you are. The question is, will you obey? The days ahead will be marked by challenge, by pressure, by testing, but they will also be marked by glory, by breakthrough, and by divine visitation. The ones who choose the narrow road now will walk in the fullness of God's promise later. The decision you make today determines the legacy you leave tomorrow. Will you be a spectator or a vessel? Will you echo the world or carry the word? Will you settle for survival, or will you walk in the power of your divine assignment? The call is clear, the path is narrow, but the reward is eternal. You have been prepared, you have been chosen, and now you must choose. The kingdom is advancing. Will you go with it? The voice of the Lord is roaring through the storm. The silence has ended. The line has been drawn. The fire is falling, and the call is going forth. Who will rise? Who will stand? Who will answer the voice of God in this generation? You are not here by mistake. You are chosen for this moment. Shake off the dust. Tear down the idols. Rebuild the altar. And let the fire fall. For this is the word of the Lord for his chosen on June 21st, 2025. Not to survive, but to overcome. Not to fit in, but to stand apart. Not to blend with the world, but to burn with heaven. The shaking has come, but you were born for it.